Part 9. Becoming the Richest by Farming. Author, Gu Mushuang. Chapter 81. When Sister Ye and I appeared, she was directly searched on Weibo. The sisters of the two actresses who appeared in the same program group at the same time, it was really hard not to compare them. When people on Weibo were amazed at Sister Ye and I's high education and the temperament of a wealthy lady, they naturally and inevitably mentioned Yingwan. The key is that Yingwan was degraded to the dust. Some people acted as if the money of the Ye family was their own money and degraded Lin Mei to death. Needless to say, the only people who could hate Lin Mei so much were Ye and I's fans. Ye and I and Lin Mei do not look the same, but because of their family backgrounds, they are too similar in various ways, so they have always been the objects of comparison. Lin Mei has acting skills and popularity, while Ye and I is a shame for being forced to promote her, but Ye and I also has resources that Lin Mei cannot get. In this comparison, it would be strange if they did not become enemies. When Lin Mei accepted this program, she did not know that Ye and I had also accepted it. Otherwise, she would definitely not accept it. Even while playing in the aquarium, Lin Mei received a message from Su Xiao, saying that she and Ye and I were both on the hot search. She was eating, but her expression changed slightly when she saw the message. Su Xiao reminded her in the headset, "The camera is shooting." Lin Mei quickly forced a smile, but her eyes were fixed on the phone, and her expression was not very clear. Seeing this, the photographer focused on Yingwan and the two children. After all, the interaction with the children is also a highlight. And his two children have not been to very good places most of the time, but in the aquarium, they especially listen to Lin Mei and Yingwan, and they are eating very well at this moment. The set meal at the aquarium is also more expensive, more than 100 yuan for one set meal. Of course, it was ordered by Lin Mei. She didn't care about spending this little money at all, and Yingwan didn't say anything. Just looking at Lin Mei's unclear expression at this time, you know what she is looking at. She is probably reading the comments on the internet. At this time, and his child, Sister Peng Jian asked Brother Peng Jiaqian, "Is it delicious?" Brother Peng Jiaqian showed a shy smile and nodded hurriedly. The fast food here tastes okay, but for the meals they usually cook, it is already a delicacy from the mountains and the sea. But Peng Jiaqian added, "It's not as delicious as the meals made by Sister Yingwan." Yingwan pursed her lips and smiled. Lin Mei on the opposite side raised her head and smiled, "I'm going to the bathroom, Wan, you take them here to eat?" Yingwan nodded, and Lin Mei went to the bathroom. Only in the bathroom, when no one is following her, can she turn off the headset and talk directly to the people outside. She is now full of anger. It is common to see that she and Ye and I are compared online. She is used to it. However, seeing her sister being degraded to the dust, Lin Mei still can't suppress the anger. Ye and I really has no idea. Her sister has enjoyed the same treatment as her in the Ye family since she was a child. Can Yingwan compare with her? The key point is that Ye and I's younger sister usually studies abroad and doesn't come back often. Now her sister comes back specially when recording a program. You can imagine why. Ye and I just can't stand her being unhappy, and she has to compare in every aspect. Now she is even compared with her younger sister. She even bought hot searches. As for celebrities, you can tell at a glance which hot searches are bought and exaggerated by Water Army. When Ye and I's sister came out, I don't know how many marketing accounts came out to take screenshots and compare directly. The reaction was so quick, it was not planned, no one would believe it. Becoming the Richest by Farming. Author, Gu Mushuang. Chapter 82. Lin Mei went out to make a phone call, so Yingwan didn't need to worry about the two children. They were so well behaved that they even ate the food in the fast food tray cleanly without any waste. No one laughed at them. Eating cleanly is the best interpretation of Chinese virtues. Of course, there were also people who mocked them in the barrage. However, some people found that some people's focus was strangely not on the point. Why can she cook? When did she learn to cook? I just watched the live broadcast and was confused. She can actually cook. Ah, I think of her who doesn't eat worldly fireworks again. Other fans were puzzled. Isn't it normal for Yingwan to cook? Oh, is it Lin Mei? But Lin Mei can't cook either. At lunchtime in a certain laboratory, many researchers picked up their phones online to watch the live broadcast. I heard it just started yesterday. If we weren't stuck in the lab, we would have definitely caught up with the first-hand live broadcast. The teacher actually went on a live show. It's rare in the world. Doesn't she never accept interviews? I heard that this star is her sister, it's hard to refuse. Many elite personnel wearing white coats and usually serious faces gathered at the dinner table at this time, each holding a mobile phone, watching, eating and discussing at the same time. They didn't look half serious as usual, and they were gossiping. There are also people who expressed anger at the content of the barrage. What do you mean our teacher is not as good as the sister next door? Bah! When my teacher graduated at the age of 9, they were still playing in the mud. These people just lack the beating of society. If they don't know the true identity of the teacher, their eyes will fall out when the time comes. Who of you will tell the teacher's identity? How can I say it? The teacher never lets it be made public. If she wants to make it public, she would have made it public long ago. In the past, Yingwan was doing research quietly. Except for some award-giving institutions and important national personnel who knew her identity, basically most people didn't know it, let alone appear in front of the public. Sometimes, not showing up easily is the best protection for such super geniuses. After all, they are too precious, and bumps can make people's hearts clench. Everyone looked at each other, and finally they were dejected. Suddenly someone mentioned, will the 27th Lawrence Academic Seminar be held in the Imperial Capital next month? I remember that the teacher will give a speech at that time. Someone was puzzled, isn't this not open to the public? No. Suddenly someone showed a happy face, this time it is different, it will be broadcast live. Everyone looked at each other, and suddenly understood what it meant in an instant. The teacher went on stage to give a speech, or the whole process was broadcast live. Even if ordinary people don't care about what the Lawrence Academic Seminar represents, even the previous years passed silently, but this time with the teacher, it's different. Just think about it, a super genius who is only 24 years old, a group of world-class professors sitting below to listen to her speech, most of whom are her students and research colleagues. That scene, just thinking about it makes people's blood boil. Ah, by that time, I'm afraid people all over the world will be furious, right? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Becoming the Richest by Farming. Author, Gu Mushuang. Chapter 83. Lin Mei came back after answering the phone. Yingwan had already finished her meal with the two siblings of the Pang family. Yingwan was not used to eating set meals, so she only ate a little, just like Lin Mei. When Lin Mei came back, she only glanced at them and smiled, "Don't you want to eat? If not, let's continue shopping." Yingwan nodded and continued to visit the aquarium with the two siblings of the Pang family. Lin Mei seemed a little absent-minded all afternoon because of the news on the internet. She couldn't do anything. At most, she could ask someone to suppress the other party's hot search and gradually reduce the discussion. After all, Ye-Ni's sister's talents in all aspects are real, and there is nothing she can do about it except comparing them. Occasionally, Lin Mei would glance at Yingwan's cold face and suddenly thought of how she had rashly come to her house to ask for help, which was indeed a bit troublesome. If it weren't for her, Yingwan wouldn't be subjected to those unfounded speculations and attacks on the internet now, and she could live a quiet life in the countryside alone. Thinking of this, she felt more and more guilty. The internet is like this now, especially for a star like her who is half black and half red. Even if she has done nothing wrong, she will attract a lot of unfounded black material, not to mention an amateur like Yingwan. Yingwan is her sister. She is now impulsive to drag her into the water. Doesn't it seem a bit too much? Su Xiao also saw Lin Mei's face becoming more and more unclear outside the camera, and thought it was bad. Lin Mei seems to be open-minded, but in fact she is a very sensitive person. Because of her family when she was a child, she can remember some small details very clearly, and can also feel more differences between others and herself. When she first entered the circle, she was not used to the rhythm and tone of this circle. At that time, she often came back from work and locked herself in the room to cry, and no matter how she persuaded, it didn't work. Su Xiao is now afraid that Lin Mei will have an emotional breakdown during the live broadcast, which is not a good thing for her. Others may sympathize with her for a while, but if she says something she shouldn't say, the Lin family will not let her go, so Lin Mei is sometimes very aggrieved. She can't mention the Lin family. Unlike Ye and I, she could openly introduce where she came from. She had not mentioned her parents' names for 2 days of recording the show, and she had no discussion with Yingwan. It was the audience who reminded her all the time that Lin Mei was the daughter of the Lin family. People outside thought so, but the Lin family didn't think so. Fortunately, there were a lot of things in the aquarium. Lin Mei took Peng Jian and the others for a whole afternoon, so she didn't have so much time to feel sad for Chiu and Min Chun. After the aquarium trip, on the way home, Peng Jian and the Jian brothers and sisters of the Peng family were obviously more relaxed. They discussed enthusiastically in the car. Lin Mei looked at the gradually darkening night outside the window, and her heart became darker and darker. The night also has an impact on people's mood, which also caused Lin Mei's mood to look more and more depressed. Yingwan also noticed Lin Mei's abnormal emotions, but she didn't understand where Lin Mei's abnormal emotions came from, and she couldn't say anything. She always behaved quietly. On the way back, she quietly looked at her mobile phone. There was a strange atmosphere in the car, and even the audience in the live broadcast room noticed it. Unfortunately, the journey back took 2 hours. Lin Mei and her friends left at 2 o'clock and arrived home at exactly 8 o'clock. They ended the broadcast on time, and I don't know what happened next. Becoming the Richest by Farming. Author, Gu Mushuang. Chapter 84. After watching today's program, Ye Ni's live broadcast room exploded in popularity because of the appearance of Ye Ni's sister. Sister Ye Ni firmly occupies the top of the hot search list, while Sister Lin Mei seems to be a mirror joke, standing at the second position on the list. After entering the 2 hot search points, there are completely different comments. The paid marketing account seems to be able to praise Sister Ye Ni and spend money on Weibo, and it also treats Sister Lin Mei openly and covertly. Lin Mei looked at those comments and felt her head was pounding. Her head was a little swollen, and her eyes felt unusually sour. She actually didn't understand that even if Yingwan was not as good as Ye Ni's sister, she just lived a quiet life by herself without disturbing anyone. Why did she have to be compared with her? Why did Ye Ni have to compare everything around her? To highlight her superiority. You don't need any evidence to know that Ye Ni did this. She asked Su Xiao to suppress the hot search. Now that the hot search has not been suppressed, it has become even more popular. Only Ye Ni can achieve this kind of power. At most, there will be some enemies who want to add fuel to the fire. After they arrived home, Su Xiao knew that the live broadcast was over and walked directly to Lin Mei's bedroom. I told you not to read the comments online. Lin Mei's mood suddenly collapsed. I don't want to see it either, but I can't control it. What can I do? Su Xiao frowned fiercely. Those people are talking about Yingwan, and even Yingwan doesn't care. As a sister, You are not familiar with the rules of the entertainment industry, so you have to worry about what some black men say. Of course she doesn't care because she doesn't watch, but can I not care? I brought her in. If I didn't insist on her recording the show with me, would she deserve to be said like that on the internet? Lin May burst into tears immediately. The pressure from the Lin family for so many days finally made her unable to hold back any longer. Seeing Lin May's tears, Su Xiao froze for a moment, and then his heart softened. He sighed, squatted down and held Lin May's hand. I know what you are thinking, you just feel unfair for Yingwan. But during the recording of the show, we had already expected this. I will try my best to suppress hot searches. If Yan'ai wants to be arrogant now, let her be arrogant. The harder she suppresses her, you and Yingwan don't do anything. As long as we don't cause trouble, sooner or later, there will be backlash. Her popularity and acting skills are not as good as yours, and it is only because of the resources behind her. Su Xiao is an agent, and an agent has what an agent should do, but facing Yan'ai's background, even Lin May's agent has to avoid her for the time being. Lin May's voice trembled. Do you think what I want is those resources? I also want her, to have someone behind her to back me up, so I don't have to worry about anything, because there is someone taking care of everything. I was born in the Lin family, but I have never had it. I have been treated seriously by them, and I also want to have family members who love me and love me. Others are on the show with their own family members, but I am the one dragging my sister along. I know that people outside are laughing and thinking, but there is nothing I can do. I shouldn't have let Yingwan get involved. This is my own business. If I had known earlier, I would have rather lost the 200 million. She burst into tears. Do you know? When I came to see Yingwan, I actually had a particularly despicable idea. Su Xiao's heart skipped a beat and he held her hand tightly. You're too excited, stop talking. Becoming the Richest by Farming. Author, Gu Mushuang. Chapter 85. She had already caught a glimpse of Yingwan out of the corner of her eye. She was in the living room, and Lin May didn't close the bedroom door, so she could hear her clearly. Lin May didn't care at all and just smiled sadly. I knew about Yingwan at that time. I knew that she grew up in the countryside. I came to her with some hope and a more terrifying thought. I thought, let the Lin family see that I am not the most useless daughter of the Lin family. There is another child in the countryside, and she is not even as good as me. I thought that this way, the Lin family would know that there is no benefit at all from being on the show with her, and the Lin family would agree to let me go back. When I saw Yingwan, I knew that the blood of the Lin family flows in my bones, so I am as shameless as the Lin family. She is also of the Lin family's blood, but she did not grow up in the Lin family since she was a child. She is different from us. Su Xiao. She tightened her lips and sighed helplessly in her heart, but she didn't know what to say. All of Lin May's problems were caused by her family. It would be fine if her heart was not distorted. Lin May continued to tremble while crying. I was like this when I was a child. What I enjoyed seemed to be the best of everything from the Lin family, just because they didn't treat me badly. But I wanted them to stay with me even more. They always say that they are very busy, and their father has to work, and their mother has to work. It wasn't until I gave birth to my younger brothers and sisters that I realized that no matter how busy a mother is, she can take care of her children at home, and no matter how busy a father is, he will still find time to spend time with them. Have a meal together. You may not believe it. Before my brothers and sisters were born, I had never seen them together at home. When I had dinner together, I could only see my dad or my mom. I wanted them to accompany me. Going to the zoo together is a luxury for me. My grandparents don't care about me. They only care about my younger brothers and sisters. I just need the housekeeper to take me to buy whatever I want. How happy I am, right? I have everything that other children may never have. Just like Yingwan, she may still be running for her own life, and she only has her grandfather by her side. She was crying so hard, she just needed an outlet. Today's events were like a gap, which finally caused the defense in her heart to collapse. In the past few days, facing her sister's careful protection and the pressure from her family, she had been feeling very uncomfortable. She felt sad for those people online who said Yingwan was wrong, and felt that she was not worth it. Obviously her life could be better. After Su Xiao heard this, he felt very sympathetic to Lin Mei, but he couldn't help but said, "So why are you still so nice to them? You clearly know that they will not respond. When she earns money, she spends it on her two younger brothers, sisters, and family. Other celebrities are now opening up houses and villas all over the world. Lin Mei now only has 2 houses in the imperial capital, which are just ordinary apartments. Compared to her big, considering the status of a young lady and the huge popularity of a star, it is completely unbelievable. People should always have a little extravagant hope, right? I always think that they can always see the good in me." Speaking of this, she still felt extremely wronged. She lay in Su Xiao's arms and burst into tears. In the living room, Yingwan stood there and heard every word Lin Mei said clearly. She lowered her eyes still calm. Just one moment at a time, he poked a tumbler on the table. "You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment." Becoming the Richest by Farming. Author, Gu Mushuang. Chapter 86. Lin Mei's crying in the room gradually became quieter. Now that the camera and headset were turned off, she was not afraid of being heard by others. Only Yingwan was outside. After a long time, there was no sound outside. After crying, Lin Mei gradually calmed down. Thinking of Yingwan outside just now, she suddenly felt regretful and embarrassed. She cried so hard that her voice became nasal. Was Wan outside just now? Su Xiao sighed, "You just found out? Didn't I ask you not to say it? But it's too late to say anything now. I don't know if Yingwan will think that Lin Mei is pretending to be pitiful here on purpose. Lin Mei is a star. When she acted on TV before, her acting skills were also good. But there are some things that only Su Xiao knows. Who doesn't have their own difficulties in this circle? Only those who can become popular can control some of the right to speak. What's more, Lin Mei has her own family situation." Lin Mei lowered her head, and her fingers were a little uneasily stirring. I just couldn't help it just now. Many things have a fuse, and they can't be held in the heart. As long as you vent it out, you will feel much better." Su Xiao said faintly, "There is still half a year left for this program. It takes so long, and it only broadcasts live for 1 week each month. It is to maintain the popularity. Now the program is indeed popular, with more than a dozen hot searches in a row, and the popularity remains high. Every star is the subject of public discussion. But among them, Lin Mei and Yingwan's negative reviews are the most obvious. Lin Mei is also a little tired. Yes, there is still half a year. This is only the 2nd day. After a while, there was a noise outside, and Lin Mei suddenly heard Yingwan's voice. "I stewed rock sugar and snow pears, do you want to drink it?" Lin Mei paused, looked at Su Xiao, and Lin Mei quickly responded, "I am coming." She wiped her tears, and her swollen eyes just now could not stop crying, so she could only wipe them with wet tissues. "Tonight, I can only use something to apply temporarily, and I don't know if I can still watch it tomorrow morning." When she saw the calm Yingwan, Lin Mei subconsciously lowered her head and dared not look directly into those eyes. She thought of the crying in the room just now. She cried so hard, Yingwan must have heard it. Alas! She saw 2 bowls of rock sugar and snow pear soup on the table. Yingwan had just cooked it. There were still a dozen pairs left from yesterday. Lin Mei picked up a bowl and smiled at Yingwan. Thank you. You're welcome. Yingwan saw Su Xiao coming out of the room. Do you want to drink it? Su Xiao was a little flattered. Is there a share for me? Yingwan nodded. I stewed a pot. It's no problem for several people to drink it. Su Xiao agreed. Of course. Yingwan's stew must be delicious. If the villagers hadn't helped them cook these days, their lives would have been miserable. She quickly agreed. Yingwan pointed to the remaining bowl on the table and turned to the kitchen to fill another bowl. The soup was completely sweet. The taste of rock sugar did not cover the deliciousness of the snow pear itself. A mouthful of sweet soup made people feel sweet in their hearts. Lin Mei wanted to cry again. But she had just cried, so she blinked hard and forced her tears back. Thinking of Yingwan now, he couldn't help but smile. Su Xiao drank his soup and looked at her smiling, saying, "You should smile more. You are so beautiful and popular. Are you afraid that you will have a hard time in the future?" Becoming the Richest by Farming. Author, Gu Mushuang. Chapter 87. Lin Mei is considered to have a relatively good life. She has her own family reasons, but there are a lot of people in her circle who are worse off than her. Everyone has an indescribable reason. Lin Mei has her pity and her luck. Lin Mei knew what Su Xiao meant, and she nodded. Su Xiao finished the soup and said, "Then I'll go back and rest first. It's too late. You should apply it on your eyes quickly. Otherwise, what if you can't see anyone when you get up tomorrow morning? I'm afraid of swelling. You can tell something is wrong by then." Lin Mei nodded vigorously, sent Su Xiao out, and then took the bowl to wash. Not long after, Yingwan walked to the kitchen door and asked, "Were you crying just now?" She asked directly, and Lin Mei felt a little embarrassed. She couldn't say that she was temporarily affected by the comments online. Part of it was because Yingwan had been wronged, but seeing Yingwan's expressionless face, she felt that it was too pretentious to say it. Just like Su Xiao said, the person involved doesn't care, so what does she care about? Just a little thing. Lin Mei could only explain in a low voice. Then she saw Yingwan handing something over. After applying the mask, use 2 drops of this and apply it around the corners of your eyes. Be careful not to get it into your eyes. Wipe it clean. Lin Mei saw that it was a transparent jar. Although the jar was a glass box and looked a bit high-end, there was no brand or logo on it. She hesitated. What is this? I used eye cream. Your eyes are red now. It works well. My friend made it myself. If you don't want to use it, I won't force you. Lin Mei. Lin Mei is a female star. She uses top-notch products from major brands, or very expensive skincare products produced by special channels. Those are really effective. Lin Mei didn't know where it came from. There was no sign yet, so she was a little afraid to use it. Especially if a friend made it himself. This sentence alone was enough to make Lin Mei hesitate. But she saw Yingwan's flawless face. She also used these on a daily basis, and the effect seemed to be very good. There really wasn't a single flaw visible on Yingwan's body. Maybe the effect was good? Thinking of this, she slowly took it. The eye cream is a small bottle, and according to Yingwan, it is enough for about 2 months. I don't know where Yingwan bought it. Lin Mei was murmuring in her heart, but when Yingwan saw her taking it, he ignored her, said good night and went back to her room. Lin Mei returned to the room with the eye cream, put on her pajamas and applied a facial mask on the bed after taking a shower. At exactly this time, she received a call from Lin Baojun. She answered with some confusion, "Hello? Lin Baojun, what are you doing?" Lin Baojun's voice was urgent. Quick, 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 sister, transfer 500,000 to me. I have an urgent need now." As soon as she heard the money was raised, Lin Mei stood up from lying down and said, "Why do you want money again?" If Lin Baoxi was still thinking of buying some gifts for the other party, then Lin Baojun was so pampered that it was natural for her to ask for money from Lin Mei. When he couldn't get money from his parents, he would consciously come to Lin Mei. Lin Baojun spent money like a bottomless pit. At a young age, he followed the rich second generation in the same circle and learned some shady things. Even the Lin family couldn't resist his excessive demands, so Lin Mei became his second cash machine. Becoming the richest by farming. Author, Gu Mushuang. Chapter 88. Lin Baojun's voice was a little impatient, playing games. Lin Baojun likes playing games very much. He spends a lot of money to show his status. It's no big deal to charge hundreds of thousands at a time. In the game, he is a rich man admired by everyone. Lin Mei couldn't help but frown when she heard this, playing games every day, why don't you do anything serious? You will go abroad next year, do you still want to play like this? Lin Baojun immediately became impatient, why are you talking so much? Just give me money when I ask you to. If he asked for money before, Lin Mei would give it without hesitation. Now there is more Yinghuan. In contrast, she thinks that Lin Baojun's brother looks terrible. What kind of game do you need to charge 500,000 now? I'm in the countryside now and can't transfer money. How about I call Dad? Lin Baojun would never let her call, and hung up the phone directly. I guess he will lose his temper again. Hearing the interrupted blind tone, Lin Mei sighed. Lin Baojun usually asks her for hundreds of thousands or millions of money. This time is not very frequent, but once a month, it will be tens of millions in a year. Lin Mei can make money, but she can't stand Lin Baojun's hoarding. Doesn't the Lin family feel sorry for the money? Besides, if the Lin family doesn't give him money, it also has another meaning, that is, let him ask Lin Mei for money. Most of the time, Lin Mei will give it, and occasionally she won't give it, but during that time, Lin Baojun will definitely find ways to grind her. Sometimes she gives it because she is soft-hearted. Now thinking that Yinghuan is in the countryside all year round, she may not spend the amount of money that Lin Baojun asks for in a few years, and she feels a little uncomfortable. After applying the mask, she tore it off and did daily care. I don't know if it's because I cried too much tonight, but the corners of my eyes are always a little stinging when they are touched by water. She hesitated for a moment and looked at the eye cream that Yinghuan gave her. In the end, she took a little out and applied it on her hands. The smell is very fragrant and elegant, a bit like a mixture of rose and lemon. This eye cream looks a bit like water, no wonder Yinghuan said 1 or 2 drops. After a few minutes, there was no allergic reaction on the hands, so Lin Mei was relieved to apply it around the eyes. Strangely enough, the eyes that were originally stinging felt only a cool and moist feeling, and there was an inexplicable comfort. This surprised Lin Mei a little. But after all, she just tried it, she didn't know, she lay down on the bed and fell asleep. In the morning, Lin Mei got up as usual to eat breakfast, and Yinghuan had already prepared it. Not long after breakfast, it was time to start the live broadcast. When Lin Mei went to the bathroom to wash up, she looked up in the mirror and was a little surprised. It wasn't a big change, but there was no trace of crying last night. She was still the delicate and elegant woman in the mirror. She always did a good job of skincare, so her skin was also very good. There was no trace at all. It seems that Yinghuan's eye cream is really effective. Lin Mei was immediately satisfied and dared to use it. I will ask her where this friend made it and what brand it is later, so she can go to support it. If the effect is really good, there is a new product to recommend. However, when she walked out the door, she found that the couriers who appeared yesterday were here again. It was the same ones, carrying the things in the box for Yinghuan to see. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Becoming the Richest by Farming. Author, Gu Mushuang. Chapter 89. The box was open, but Lin Mei hadn't seen what was inside. She saw Yingwan glanced at it and said, "Tell them not to send it." The courier smiled, even respectfully, "Yes, do you want to return it?" Yingwan said, "Keep this batch first, I'll send it back after testing." The courier put it down, and Lin Mei walked over to see that there were several modules inside. The module looked a bit like a data chip, but Lin Mei had never seen it before, so she was not sure. She didn't hear it clearly, only heard the word testing, so she asked curiously, "What did you buy again?" Yingwan turned around, "Toys." Lin Mei, "Oh." She seemed to see the corner of the courier's mouth twitching. Yingwan went in with the box. Lin Mei became interested in the courier in front of her and asked, "Are you really a courier? Are you a courier specifically for this? If I want to send something back, can I contact you directly?" The Special Forces member called the courier glanced at her sideways, and his attitude was somewhat unyielding. "What do you want to send?" Lin Mei said, "I haven't sent anything back yet. If there is any courier in the next few days, please send it to me." She spoke delicately, but she didn't take it for granted, and was quite polite. The courier nodded coldly, turned around and left. Lin Mei saw the other person's broad shoulders, narrow waist and long legs, and really couldn't believe that he was a courier. But she couldn't figure out what the other person did. She was a little curious if it was a newcomer sent by the program team, but why did the newcomer have to contact Yingwan? She didn't notify her to take special care of her. Lin Mei was puzzled, but didn't think much about it. She was going to prepare for breakfast. Because the live broadcast has not officially started yet, no one pays attention to this side. She went to the kitchen and took out the bowls and chopsticks to set them aside. This morning, Yingwan cooked a light millet porridge. It was thick and the rice grains were plump. She should not be eating ordinary rice. This kind of rice is particularly delicious. It's just that Lin Mei hasn't eaten rice for a long time and has no research on this aspect. A pile of green vegetables is enough to whet the appetite. Lin Mei ate a full bowl of porridge and it was very refreshing. After breakfast and washing the dishes, the live broadcast of the program was about to begin. Lin Mei knew that she had lost her composure after reading the comments yesterday. At the beginning of the live broadcast today, she took the initiative to ask Yingwan, "What are you going to do today?" "I will go with you." She couldn't watch Yingwan doing farm work all the time. Yingwan was silent for a while, and then said, "Let's go to the market today. The vegetables have not grown completely yet, and the vegetables for the next few days must be bought at the market." Lin Mei immediately clapped her hands, Okay, let's go together." Going to the market means going to the market in the town. Although the place is still small, it is much larger than the village. It's good that Lin Mei also went to see if there is anything to buy. She hadn't been there in the past few days, mainly because Yingwan didn't go, but Su Xiao and the others had been there several times. They all went to buy some snacks. There was only one small shop in the village, which was indeed a bit poor. Knowing that they were going to the market, Lin Mei was very happy. She wore the same convenient jeans as Yingwan. If the two sisters looked carefully, they finally had the same style. So Yingwan got on the van and went to the market with Lin Mei. The number of people broadcasting live today was about the same as yesterday, but some people still felt bored. In addition, Yuanqiudu and the others were abroad again, and people kept turning to other people's live broadcasts in Lin Mei's room. Becoming the Richest by Farming. Author, Gu Mushuang. Chapter 90. Yingwan and Lin Mei went to the market together. The town is not far from the village, and it takes about 10 minutes to get there by car. Huayang village belongs to Ijia town, and basically people from several nearby villages will go to the market in this town. The market is not big, but it is small but complete, and you can usually buy basic daily necessities. There is also a not so small supermarket at the end. After Lin Mei and Yingwan arrived, Yingwan went straight to the vegetable market. Lin Mei had never bought vegetables before, so of course she went with Yingwan. They needed to buy vegetables, meat, and some fruits. Yingwan remembered what she wanted to buy clearly, and she quickly bought a bunch of them. There were photographers around the two people, and many people were watching curiously. However, as they were buying, the people in the barrage found something wrong. Because Yingwan didn't bargain when buying vegetables. Basically, bargaining is a basic method for people living in the countryside, right? But Yingwan went over, just looked at which vegetables, and then took them directly. After she picked them, she weighed them and paid them very quickly. Lin Mei had never bought vegetables before, and she didn't think there was anything wrong with Yingwan's behavior. She just happily followed suit. Barrage. No, why don't you bargain when buying vegetables? Isn't bargaining basic common sense? Damn, is it normal for green onions to be sold at 3 yuan a pound? Yingwan is good at choosing vegetables, why doesn't she bargain when buying vegetables? Wow, it's different to have a sister around to pay. She doesn't bargain when buying vegetables, she's so rich. The main problem is that when people buy vegetables now, basically everyone will learn to bargain. But Yingwan has never encountered the problem of bargaining. She always has others buy things for her, and she goes to buy them herself. So doesn't it matter how much money others say? Anyway, it doesn't matter how much money she has. No matter how much money there is in the town, it won't be a big rip-off. She doesn't talk much, and she doesn't even think of bargaining. But in a short while, they bought a lot, and even she and Lin Mei were almost unable to carry it. Lin Mei, a delicate young lady, now had some difficulty carrying several kilograms of vegetables. Wan, did we buy too much? Yingwan said, take it back, you don't need to come this week. Lin Mei just said oh. Yingwan bought beef, some mutton and lamb legs, and a lot of other things, and finally put them in the van. Lin Mei also went to the supermarket to buy a lot of things. Neither of them cared about the price when buying things, but when checking out, Lin Mei took the initiative to pay, and Yingwan took out her mobile phone and quickly scanned the code. She looked at Yingwan, who took care of everything, and felt a little embarrassed. I can pay for you. Compared with her expenses, no matter how long she stayed in the countryside, this expense was not worth mentioning. Yingwan looked at her strangely. I have money, why do I need yours? She accepted the things Lin Mei bought, but it didn't mean she had to accept everything. She had her own money, and she would not let Lin Mei pay. But Lin Mei couldn't figure out what she meant, and just thought she didn't want to use her own money. She felt a little sad when she thought about it. However, their conversation undoubtedly slapped the faces of those who said Yingwan used Lin Mei's money. Despite this, they didn't believe it even more. They all started to mock her.